This evening's meeting of the Board of Zoning Appeals for the City of Florence to order. First item on this evening's agenda is approval of the minutes of the April 23rd, 2020 meeting. Minutes were submitted to members of the board by staff in ample time. Does anybody have any additions or amendments they would like to make?
I don't. I make a motion to approve them.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. The motion carries. The amendments are approved. Next item on this evening's agenda is appeal number BZA-2020-05. This is a variance request from the setback requirements in Table 3-8.1.1 of the Unified Development Ordinance for an accessory building. Location is 2126 Camelot Court, tax map number 01506-01-252. Owner of record is Chris Sawyer. The applicant is Chris Sawyer. The board will now hear from the city and their findings of fact.
There we go. All right, good afternoon. Yes, the applicant is requesting a variance from the side and rear setback requirements for an accessory building to be constructed in the rear yard of his house. It is located in the Cloisters off of Lancelot Drive, a couple blocks over from Damon Drive. Here's the aerial of the house. As you can see, there's a pool in the backyard. The whole area is zoned NC 15, which is single-family residential. And the future land use calls for it to be neighborhood conservation, which is residential. So it's a strictly residential area. According to Table 3811, an accessory building shall comply with principal building setbacks for the district for the side setbacks. And in the NC 15 district, the side setback for the principal building is 10 feet. And the rear setback for accessory buildings is 5 feet for buildings less than 10 feet in height, 10 feet for anything over 10 feet in height. And this building has 8-foot sidewalls, but with the roof, it does exceed 10 feet. So this is the site plan of the building. He wants to build a 14 by 14 enclosed structure to put in a bathroom for the kids to use when they're out at the pool, and also a storage area for lawnmower and such like that. And then the blue box would be like a lean-to area for just an outdoor sitting area. And he wants to have it at 3 feet from each property line, largely because there's a tree just to the left of that blue box, and you'll see it in the site photo in a moment, that he really doesn't want to take down. He could put it in the opposite corner, but this is closer to the pool, and also the sewer line, which he would need to hook into for the bathroom, is on that side of the house. And the kids play in the other. He'd like to leave the open space larger. This is just a sample elevation of what the building will look like. These are site photos. The lower left photo is a picture of the play area of the yard, and you see that it's open. And then the pictures on the right show pictures of the tree that he would like to preserve. And you can also see that the yard is enclosed with an opaque wood fence, 6-foot wood fence, and the front of it is a brick fence with iron gate, kind of same as on the picture on the left. So the conditions are that variance from the terms of the ordinance will not be contrary to the public interest. The owner wants space for general storage and a small bathroom to serve the pool, and because of the location of the pool and the tree on the side property line, meeting required setbacks would result in the necessity of a much smaller building than he desires, and it's not that big as it is. The spirit of the ordinance would be observed, safety and welfare secured, and substantial justice done. The proposed structure will be located in the back corner of the lot and will be screened from view of the public right-of-way. You won't be able to see it from the street because of the brick wall and some greenery and the tree. And the applicant is proposing the installation of French drains because sometimes a concern of having accessory buildings too close to property lines is rain runoff onto property, neighboring properties. And they're going to install French drains, which are more absorbent to absorb rainwater runoff instead of letting it run over the fence into the neighbors' parcels. There's extraordinary and exceptional conditions pertaining, that's where the swimming pool is located, in the corner of the lot. And these conditions don't generally apply to other properties. The hardship's limited to this parcel because of the location of the pool and the sewer line. That because of these conditions, the application of the ordinance to this particular property would prohibit or restrict the utilization of the property as follows. Strict adherence to the 10-foot setbacks. He would still be allowed, be able to use it, but the accessory building would be in an awkward location. It wouldn't be where he wants it, and it would make things awkward with the sewer line as well. And the authorization of variance will not be of substantial detriment to adjacent property or the public good, and the character will not be harmed. Since it will be located behind the house and screened from public view by the fencing, and then the drains will prevent water runoff into the neighbors' yards. And the property owner has told me that he has spoken to the neighbors, and they don't have a problem with it, and letters were sent out to all surrounding property owners, and I have not received any calls about it.
All right.
So that concludes staff's report.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions on behalf of the board for staff? All right, there being none, thank you very much.
Mr. Tuning, I have
sorry.
a question.
Yeah, go
Yes.
ahead.
Can you hear me well?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I was curious. The letters were sent out to the neighbors, and obviously they wouldn't, nothing sent back. Miss Elena added. I just is curiously, is there any other neighbors next door, or do they know anybody on that Camelot Court that they actually have done this before in the past? Or are these the first time they're presenting this?
If I understand your question, you're asking if any other neighbors have done similar buildings?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Not that I'm aware of. There are other swimming pools in the neighborhood. If you look at an aerial shot, there are some accessory buildings around.
Okay.
And obviously, there's not a HOA that they have to answer to, correct?
I believe he already got permission from his HOA.
Oh, okay. All right. I didn't know what HOA was in that neighborhood.
There's no HOA to my knowledge, just letting you know. I think it was disbanded before we ever moved in.
Gotcha.
So.
But no objections from any neighbors, and they have been well informed, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, I talked with the back neighbor and the side neighbor that will affect, and a couple neighbors that walked by, saw the sign. I talked them about what it would be like, and they're good with it. So
Wonderful.
All right, thank you, Mr. Poston. Anybody else? All right, that concludes the presentation on the city. Thank you very much. Mr. Sawyer, we will now hear from the applicant. If you don't mind, sir, I'm going to try to swear you in via Zoom. So do you promise that the testimony you're about to give is the truth?
sir.
All right, you may proceed, Mr. Sawyer.
Okay. You just want me to tell you what we're trying to do there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sure. Yeah, so just like Miss Elena said, we're just wanting to add kind of a, I've been telling neighbors, almost like a pool shed. We don't have any storage in the backyard. So all our storage is in the garage. So lawnmowers, things like that. I'd like to get into a storage room in the back. And while we're building a building back there, I would like to put a half bath so that whenever kids and neighbors and friends come over to, swim in the pool, they don't have to walk onto the carpet and everything dripping wet inside the house to use the bathroom. So we're going to do a half bath on the front corner facing our house inside of that storage room. So, and then again, while we're at it, the 14 by 24 concrete will also give us a lean-to to put, grill underneath it or whatever it may be, just to have a nice outdoor area back there to enjoy the pool more. So that's kind of what we're looking to do, is just try to get it over there in the corner so it doesn't really impede any play area for our 3 kids, and have, again, the storage solved, and then also a half bath solved for us to use outside.
All right. And since we are in your portion of the testimony, just to clarify, you have spoken with the neighbors. There is no HOA. If you could just kind of restate that.
Yeah, absolutely. To my knowledge, there's not an HOA there at all. When we've actually been on Camelot Court for years. We moved from across the street a couple of months ago. So we lived at 2131 Camelot Court, no HOA when we lived over there for the last 3 years. and then moved across the street here to 2126, and no HOA. We're very good friends with the Maxwells, who's right next door to us, who would be more affected than any of the other neighbors by it. They have a building somewhere in their backyard. Chris and Rachel are well aware of what we're wanting to do. And before even a drainage issue came up, we want around the concrete pad to put French drains, just so we make sure we're not dumping any water into either neighbor's yard. So yeah, I think that's probably I think when I talked to Miss Elena, that was the big concern with having a setback to begin with, is just not causing undue water runoff into any neighbor's yard. So that's why we said we'll do French drains around the 14 by 24 pad, so that any water runoff from the building will get caught in that drain and drain out.
All right. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Questions from members of the board for Mr. Sawyer? All right, there being none, Mr. Sawyer, I very much appreciate it. Does
Thank you.
anybody else wish to be heard either for or against the variance request? All right, there being none, the chair will now entertain a motion to either approve or deny the variance request from members of the board. Any members of the board want to make a motion? All right, in that case, the chair will make a motion. I move that we approve the variance request with the following reasons: that the variance from the terms of the ordinance will not be contrary to the public interest, where owing to the special conditions, a little enforcement of the provisions will, in an individual case, result in unnecessary hardship. The owner wants space for general storage and a small bathroom to serve the swimming pool. Because of the location of the pool and the trees along the side of the property line, meeting the required setbacks will result in the necessity of a much smaller building than the owner desires. That the spirit of the ordinance will be observed, and that the proposed structure will be located in the back corner of the lot and will be screened from view from the public right-of-way. The applicant is proposing the installation of French drains to accommodate rainwater runoff to the neighbors' lots. And adding to that, the applicant's testimony of his communication and cooperation with the neighbors. That there are extraordinary and exceptional conditions pertaining to this particular piece of property. Because of the location of the swimming pool is closer to the corner of the lot, which prohibits any sort of movement requiring the setback. Number 4, that these conditions do not generally apply to other properties in the vicinity. The hardship is limited to this parcel because of the location of the pool and because of the location of the sewer line that feeds that property. Number 5, that because of these conditions, the application of the ordinance to the particular piece of property would effectively prohibit or unreasonably restrict the utilization of the property as follows. Strict adherence to the ordinance does allow for the use of the property as a single-family residence, but would limit the ability of the property owner to place the accessory building in the best location on the site for his needs. And then finally, number 6, that the authorization of the variance will not be of substantial detriment to adjacent property or to the public good, and the character of the district will not be harmed by the granting of this variance, and that the accessory building is located behind the house, which will be screened from the public view by brick and wood stockade fencing, and French drains will be installed to prevent water runoff into the neighbors' yards. Do we have a second?
I have a second.
Who is that?
Nathaniel Postman.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. All right, we do have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, the ayes have it. The motion carries. The variance request is granted. Mr. Sawyer, we thank you very much. We're going to move on with the meeting. You are more than welcome to watch your city government in action. If not,
Thank you. I'm heading to work. I'm out of town working today. So thanks so much, guys. I appreciate it.
all right, take care.
Take care.
All right, we do not have any other items on this evening's agenda, but I didn't know if city staff had anything they would like to present for the board.
I can give you a quick update on our comprehensive
planning
Okay.
process. We, as you know, we were in the midst of updating our 10-year comprehensive plan. We had hired the consultants, and unfortunately, all of that has been put on hold
Right, yeah.
with the exception of, we do have an online survey available. I would, I would love each and every one of you guys to definitely go to our Facebook page. It's pinned to the top. It has a link to the survey. Please fill out the survey and please share it with others as well, so we can get it, as many responses as possible. It's up through the end of this month, so it's going to be up for about another week and a half.
Okay.
So we'd appreciate everyone to do that. And depending on how long the pandemic lasts, we may proceed with some online, some Facebook Live or some Zoom public meetings to solicit input. But we'll kind of play that by ear as everything in the world is right now. So.
All right. All right.
And I appreciate everyone's cooperation during this time with the Zoom meetings. Some people might even get accustomed to them.
No, we have better attendance online than we do in person.
All right.
So, all right, well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Is there anything else that any members of the board want to raise or anything we need to discuss? All right. I will now entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Got a second?
Second.
All right. Everybody have a good evening. We appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great night.